Season 12. The Gang Turns Black. Okay, The Gang Turns Black is a season where they took a lot of risk. A lot of it paid off. Some of it didn't. An example of one that didn't quite pay off is The Gang Turns Black. I've seen some people say that they despise this episode, and it kind of makes you wonder the reasoning as to why, but I don't think it's usually bad reason. I think they just didn't like it was a musical episode. Some people truly hate musical stuff. I'm one of them, but if it's like as long as it's not like a constant thing, I'm okay with it. If it's like a one and done, it's fine. But I don't know. It's hard to say on this one. Is it C tier? No, I wouldn't say it's C tier. Yeah, I think B tier is a good spot. I don't hate it. You got Scott Bakula in it. So there's that. Maybe bunch of Quantum Leap references that probably not a lot of people know. Gang goes to a water park. That is S tier. Old Lady House, a situation comedy. Some parts in this episode drag on a bit too much in my opinion. But the parts that hit, like really hit. So, Also, I'm going to change something real quick. Now I'm looking at the gang finds a dead body. So I'm going to I'll put that one here. Okay. I just felt like changing that. Saw it and it hit me and felt right. So it had potential to be S tier. No, it's A tier. I don't know why I keep fronting. Alright. Wolf Cola. Public relations nightmare. The Charlie and Mac UFC stuff, it was crap. The everything else, like when they were getting on the news and they were saying they were just doing all the wrong stuff in order to pretend to apologize on TV. That's pretty good. I think it's B tier. Maybe lower actually? Oh. I don't know. I'm going back and forth between some of these. Does it fit in C tier? No, it doesn't fit in C tier. There's some pretty funny moments in this episode. Okay. Making Dennis a murderer. That is S tier. Easy S. Hero or hate crime. A tier. Solid. It's when Mac full on comes out as gay. PTSD. This is an episode that for a long time I didn't really like, but it grew on me after a while. Especially the stripping scenes in the how that ended, how that turned out. That was great. That's effed up. The most darkest thing D has ever done in the entire show. Them pretending, or them going to the PTSD group and they start talking, but they're referring to the video game. Oh, guys. Oh, gosh. That's good. Better than, like, for a while, I kind of in my head thought it was pretty low. But after rewatching it a few times, it's pretty high up there. Yeah, I think it's A. B+, easy. I think that's a really good spot. The Gang 10's bar. This episode's bad. It honestly is. It feels... I kind of get what they're going for, but this episode's bad. I don't think it's DF tier. Because I kind of get what they're going for in the episode. It's kind of Dennis's build up to the Dennis Double Life episode and then his temporary departure. But just the whole episode, if you kind of okay, if I felt like if you watched the episode live, you would think it was hot garbage. If you, I'm trying to go in this episode without having prior or further knowledge of what ends up happening, but I don't know. It just feels like it's out of nowhere, especially compared to like the last episode where he had him stripping. It was Daddy and the Boy, but yeah, it's C tier. A Cricket's Tale episode that not a lot of people like. Maybe it's because there are people that don't like cricket. I feel like there's not a whole lot of people that dislike cricket. Maybe people dislike the fact that there's a whole episode dedicated to cricket. I wish there was more episodes dedicated to cricket. So, A tier. Absolutely. Dennis Double Life. I have this kind of low. I don't think it's as low as I have it. Or have it on my list. I have it like C tier on my original list, but I think it's B tier. I feel like going any higher than that's a little bit too much. The more I think about Wolf Cola, the more I want to kind of put that one lower, but I'm just going to keep it as it sits. Season 13. I think a lot of people consider this to be the worst season. Based on my graph that I need to update because I have 10 is the best and it's definitely not the best. What do I have as the worst? Is it 13? Yeah. 13 on average is the worst one. It is the only season aside from... Okay, there's a couple. Season 1, 2, 13, and 14 are the only seasons that don't have an S tier episode. First episode, Make Patties Great Again. I have this one pretty low. I don't think it's as low as, like, it's definitely better than this one. Let's have that one lower than I think it needs to be. Huh, okay. Anyways. Okay, yeah, you can't see... Okay, you can see on the stream. I can't see on my computer what these say, these blocks, but you can see it on stream, so... Is it that bad? I don't know. I'm almost tempted to put it B tier. But B tier does mean that it's on par with some of these episodes, which I'm changing kind of these in retrospect. Shit. Fuck it. I'm gonna put it there. It's very, very low B tier, but I don't really have a tier in between these to put it. So, The Gang Escapes. This one has Dennis in it. Get him out of the episode. Like, actually, the whole episode he's in it, pretty much, but... kind of bland at times. I think B tier. It's not C tier. It's good enough. Well, yeah. Because if I put it lower, then I'm saying that Make Patties Great Again is better than Gang's Escape, and that's not the case. Yeah, a lot of the jokes don't hit in the episode, but I think it's good in this spot. The Gang Beats Boggs, Ladies Reboot. I like this quite a bit. I know people generally don't like the season at all, but I definitely think this is a strong episode. This is A tier. Yep. Time's Up for The Gang. Where do I have that? B tier? Yeah. I think B tier is fine. The Gang Gets New Wheels. This is the one where the... Okay, yeah. This one's way better than I originally had it. Gang Gets New Wheels is... right here. Yeah, right there. You know what? I'm going to it. And it has nothing to do with the real world topic of it. My issue is the resolution of it. I don't know. It feels like they're trying to promote a certain way too much. And again, it has nothing to do and I'm not going to get into it because if I say anything wrong, I'll get probably my channel deleted, hate mail sent to me, and it's not even that I'm not against any of it, but the way it's talked about in the episode feels very ignorant, and ignorant in the sense of they're not. It feels like the Hollywood answer for it, as in, it feels like okay, I should kind of rephrase it. It feels like the answer for people such as like I don't know who wrote this. Here's the thing. I don't let me find out who wrote this. This one actually has fairly good ratings on IMDb. Oh. It says Glenn Howerton and Rob. I thought he wasn't writing for this season, but I guess I'm wrong. Anyways, unless IMDb is just telling you maybe it's not accurate on IMDb. I don't know. But I don't know. My issue is the fact that it was an episode. It was like why? Why do you have an episode for this? This isn't the type of show to even have that type of episode either. Which, that's kind of... we've kind of seen it before with Gun Fever 2, Still Hot. Time, whatever, you can kind of throw it out because the first season they kind of were trying to figure out what they were doing. The second time, the sequel to it, was dumb. I don't see the point of why they made an episode, especially with this type of show. So, yeah. I want to put it there. And again, do realize it's not because I'm against any of it. I'm against certain parts of it. I do not believe that... Well, the resolution is that they just have 2 bathrooms, and anyone can use them. No, there's so many problems with that. And it's a safety thing. It's not, again, it has nothing to do with whether or not you can and can't use them. It is a safety thing. Okay? But I do have problems with some parts of what they're trying to portray, especially the Charlie part. But I am not on board with their resolution. Because even though it is a comedy show and everything, and they're dumb people, the way that they deliver the dialogue in it feels like a PSA. And that's my big problem with it. It feels 100% like a PSA. And it... I don't know. Was it intentional? Was that what they were going for? Probably. But, damn. Yeah. This episode is, just, in my opinion, terrible. For many, many reasons. Not for some of the reasons. Not for the premise of it. But the delivery of it. The feeling of it being a PSA. Not even fully getting a good resolution to what they were trying to portray. And what they portrayed at the end kind of made it seem like they were serious about it, even though it's a comedy. So it's kind of like, are they serious about it? Like, you can't have 13 seasons of a show and then just be like, oh, we're gonna make a full serious episode. They kind of did that with Hero or Hate Crime, but it was at the end and it worked, mainly because Mac is gay. So, but that episode was fine, so I'll stop talking about this episode, I guess. But I do feel like I do need to go into detail as to why I put an episode at basically F tier. Because I feel like just saying, oh, it's F tier isn't a good reasoning. Because again, I like to be very thorough. I like to make S tier episodes like qualify or like deserve to be S tier, and the bottom episodes I feel like need to deserve to be in that spot. So the gang does a clip show. Okay, this is an episode that starts off as a clip show, but then it changes. It changes to misrememberings. There's some very, very funny moments in this episode. Yeah, I think it's here. Good spot for it, in my opinion. Charlie's Home Alone. This is a 2-parter with 2 different perspectives. This is... I almost want to put it A. Nah, it's A. B+. Okay. Get really close to my screen to see what the hell I'm reading here. Charlie's Home. This is from the game's perspective. I'm gonna put it in the same spot, honestly. This is tricky. I feel like Charlie's Home Alone had potential to be really good. The first one, at least. Second one's decent, I suppose. Again, it's not terrible. Yeah, okay. I think it's good where it is. Even though I do kind of have it lower on my main list, I think it's okay. Mac finds his pride. Finds his pride? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna put it there. Definitely better than when I think I first saw it. But, yeah. It's not C tier, so. Yeah, it's all 13. There's an A tier episode. There's that at least, so. Got that going for it. Season 14. We're getting close to the end here. Mainly because season 16 isn't on here. But season 14. Glenn Howerton is back. And even though he's back, it definitely... I don't know. I feel like the damage is done. I personally feel like the show took a... obviously, 13 was bad. But once season 12 ended, it took a odd turn. Even when he came back, 14, 15, and 16 have all felt very odd, in my opinion. I can't explain it, but there's a couple episodes that feel like real, always, like, true, Always Sunny episodes. Other ones, I don't know, it just feels off. But 14, you know, I have 14 ranked pretty low, but it's not terrible. But I think, like, in comparison to every other season, I guess it does kind of come across as being kind of bad. So, yeah, okay. Anyways, season 14 time. This is gonna probably get a little nuts. Again, there's only, like, one other episode that I can go, or need to go into detail as to why I have it ranked low. Season 14, the gang gets romantic. This episode is very good. It is not S tier. It is very good. It's the best episode of the season by far, in my opinion. Well, actually, you know what? There's another episode that might actually be better. Thunder Gun 4, Maximum Cool. This is semi not super related to the original one where they're racing to get to the movie theater. Thunder Gun Express. Is this? Yeah. Dolph Lundgren is in it. It's kind of low because I'm not huge on what they're trying to say and portray in this episode. I don't know. I feel like it kind of tries to dick ride Hollywood a bit. And it's a major Hollywood show at this point. I mean, it has been since like season 6, 7, but this is another episode that feels like it was written by people who have gotten to a point in their career, as with the cast of the show, where they become kind of disconnected with the real world. Like, they're literally just they're literally a part of the Hollywood scene, which what I mean by that is that they're in the same scene as like a lot of major actors, actresses, as wealthy people in general, that a lot of them are disconnected from the rest of the world. And it shows lots of times. If you ever see certain interviews with certain celebrities and all that, they kind of lose their grip, it seems like, on like what's going on in the world and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm saying this from the perspective of what they're talking about here, and it's basically talking about pirating and all that. That and PC culture and all that. But I feel like they could have done something good with it. It didn't quite come across as like a PSA, like The bathroom one. So that's good at least. It didn't come across like that. It could have, but it didn't, which is a good thing. It's not terrible. Yeah. I think B tier is good. Okay. D-Day. I think it's the best episode of the season. Yeah, definitely. The gang chokes. It's the one where Mac is giving Dennis blended pizza and soda to make him sick on purpose. Yeah, it's A tier. It's weird. It's like season 14 has some good episodes. Don't get me wrong. But it has some really bad episodes as well. And that's kind of my problem with it. I think it's as low as I have it ranked. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. The game text. That is right here. Yeah. I think. Right? Janitor always mops twice. Put the game text. Janitor always mops twice. I feel like it had potential to be better. That's my only issue with it. I know a lot of people don't like this episode, but I like the risk they took with it, so I'm gonna put it here. I'm completely rechanging some of these scores on my main list. So it's global warming. I think it's B tier, solid B tier. I think it has a jumper. Some pretty funny moments in that. I think it's a little better than Janitor Mops Twice. They're very completely different episodes, but there's some super funny moments in Patty's Has a Jumper. While Janitor Always Mops Twice isn't like super funny, it has it's an enjoyable episode from like beginning to end. So that's kind of where I sit there. At least I think. Yeah. I think it's a good spot. Okay. Okay. Woman's Right to Chop. This originally was like an F tier episode for me, but after like rewatching all that, it's definitely not like a PSA or anything, and it does have a very funny repercussion at the end, and it's not like, yeah, it's not like heavy-handed or anything, so it's better than I think I originally had it. I'm really I don't know, it's very annoying. Like, I get some of the premise is good, like the whole thing with Mac and Poppins being pregnant, and he's okay with her having an abortion because he doesn't want Poppins to die. And Charlie's like, "Oh, I thought you were all against it." And then Mac was like, "Well, not if it affects me." So that's kind of a good, kind of a hard-hitting joke there. But like the vet was incredibly annoying. I suppose there are vets out there that wouldn't perform a life-saving procedure for an animal because it's considered an abortion. I feel like that's kind of not the type of vet you'd ever want to go to because they're obviously not practicing what a vet is supposed to be. And I don't know, it's just weird because it felt very heavy-handed how they had the vet constantly correcting Mac when he kept saying Poppins was a he. Like, so fucking what would you say? It's his dog. Like, I find animals are very important, and they absolutely have like rights and all that shit. They're not every animal's not just cattle. And even cattle, I fairly believe, should have like basic rights. But I don't know. It just kind of comes across weird. I do like kind of at the end of the episode, Dee does it, but she does it on her own. I feel like if she actually went through with it and it came across being bad, because here's the thing, you absolutely have to have the right face shape to pull off that look. Sorry, I'm speaking the truth here. It's basic symmetry, okay? The concept of symmetry and like beauty and like asymmetrical and symmetrical is kind of a cultural thing. Some cultures find asymmetrical things to be way more appealing, and I think realistically, in like true symmetry is not great, I guess I should say. Like, there's been plenty of studies that even like the most attractive people in the world, while they have extremely symmetrical features, they're not 100% symmetrical. And there are plenty of people that have very distinctive, different left and right sides of their face that people find extremely attractive, and because it has nothing to do with symmetry always equaling attractiveness. It looks attractive in like nature and stuff, but again, it's all perspective and stuff like that. But again, here's the thing: short hair, at least the pixie cut, only works on certain face shapes. Sorry, it's true. Plenty of hairstyles only work with certain face shapes, and people purposely get certain hairstyles to accent their facial shape. If you get a hairstyle that doesn't accent your facial shape, then it's just going to look bad. And you're going to look bad. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It's how it works, you know? Not saying that like a woman couldn't. I mean, but you do have to have the right face shape. If you have the right face shape, it looks really good to have like the pixie cut type of hair. But if you don't have that face shape, it's gonna look really bad. But anyways, I don't really know why I'm going on a rant on this because it's not an F tier episode. Again, it C tier. Yeah, there's just some kind of annoying jokes again with like the vet and stuff, and I do like the resolution. Kind of don't even want to put it C tier now that I think about it because it's not like terrible. You know what? F it. I'm gonna put it here. Here's the thing: it's way better than Gang 10's bar. So, waiting for Big Mo. I don't for the life of me understand this episode. Is it F tier? See what the internet has to say about it. 7.6 out of 10. It's kind of lowish. I get what's going on in the episode. It's meant to be kind of a philosophical. I can't. Oh my god, I can't speak right now. But again, I don't get the point, or why it was needed, or anything like that. My biggest issue is the fact that it's the finale for season 14. If it was like an earlier episode, that would be different, but it's not. And I feel like that's a big problem with the episode. Is it as low as it is? Maybe. You know what? F it. I'm gonna put it here. It's bad, but you know what? F tier. Screw it. I'm putting it there. I think I've given my reasons. Okay. Last season. Well, not really, but season 16 is not on here. So I originally had an S tier on my list, but oh wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong episode here. That's why. Okay. This looks a lot better. What I'm reading here. Okay. 2020 year in review. The more that I see the woman's right to chop here, the more I want to lower it. Yeah. C tier. I think I've given my reasons, but 2020 year in review. B. This originally was like an F tier episode, but after rewatching, it's way better than I remembered. It's definitely an episode that I don't think it's gonna have a whole lot of staying power, but whatever. Amy's Lethal Weapon 7. Ooh, C tier. I talked about way earlier why it's so low, but yeah. It's not even... Here's the thing, it's the process of making Lethal Weapon 7, because Lethal Weapon 5 and 6 was already made, and we were watching it basically already. One, they were presenting it to the kids in Dee's drama class she was teaching, and the second, they were trying to get more money for some reason, even though it was already made at that point for 6. This one, they're just straight up making. It was getting extremely PC. Not PC, but I guess PC? I don't know. Or they were trying to... I don't know. It's like they were trying to go back on their decisions with 5 and 6. It's like they're completely disregarding or trying to... Hopefully it's very just like I'm not sure if it's just tongue-in-cheek and they're trying to make it seem like, oh, we're aware. Hopefully they're just like the whole thing. But again, I don't know. I don't think they're anywhere close to this season in the podcast. I could be wrong. Even if they do get to that point, or when they get to that point, I don't think they're going to basically be like, oh, we're kind of just trying to retroactively try to cover our grounds with 5 and 6 when they had no reason to in the first place. 5 and 6 is parody, okay? It's not nothing in those episodes was intentionally supposed to be bad or hateful or anything like that. I'm almost tempted to put this F tier because even if you take out all that part, it's not funny, you know? I don't know. Hell, even in the synopsis for the episode, they talk about, you know what? Okay, maybe it is tongue-in-cheek, because in the synopsis it says, upon discover... I don't remember this episode, apparently. Their self-made lethal weapon sequels have been pulled from the local library. The gang decides to address their political incorrectness by making another film, Lethal Weapon 7. Okay, that kind of brings it up a little bit in my opinion. I still think it's C tier. The reason why I think it's still C tier, and it's actually kind of anti-political correctness, is the fact that they kind of lost all the rights to it to the guy who pretended he was Tiger Woods in the Pretty Woman episode. And it's just like, oh, he just straight up, like, stole their IP, and he was able to get away with it because he was African American or something like that. I don't know. I feel like with the fact that it is kind of tongue in cheek, and what they did in the episode was good up until the end when they did that, where it actually kind of seemed like a reverse political correctness thing. It was political wrongness. Is that the right term? We're trying to show that people can get away, or people can get whatever they want if they're in a certain group and complain about it. That's almost what it seemed like they were doing, which is not a good thing to promote, because it's basically, I don't know, it's like reverse political correctness, I think, and that's regard. But anyways, right here, it's whatever. I have issues with it. If it didn't end the way it ended, it would be B tier. And if it wasn't actually, here's the thing, the fact that it wasn't another lethal weapon, that's the problem with it. Is that it was not another lethal weapon. It was them making a new lethal weapon that was politically correct. The other two were already made, and we were watching it for the episode. That's why it's C tier. And I'm gonna definitely hold to my view on that. The gang buys a roller rink. Damn, is it S tier? There's definitely a lot of continuity problems in it. Like, as in, a lot of stuff that we hear or is talked about in the episode does not match up with the established lore of Always Sunny. But that's fine. I mean, they can do whatever they want because of the type of show it is. I'm gonna put it here. The gang replaces D with a monkey. This is the episode that leads up to the Ireland episodes. B tier? Yeah. Gang goes to Ireland. I'm gonna put this one here. Because 6, 7 is when... It's really good, though. Don't get me wrong. This episode's really good. Gang goes to Ireland, the first one. But I think I'm gonna put the gang still in Ireland here. D sinks in a bog. Gang carry the corpse up a mountain. Here. Yeah. Now here's the question. Do I need to go through this and move stuff around? Probably has cancer down here. Okay. Think. Yeah, that looks right with season 1. Okay. Season 16. The way I'm gonna do this is... You'll see in a sec. Oh, damn. Is the gang goes bowling S tier? I feel like it had potential to be way funnier than it was. And comparing to some of these S tier episodes, I don't think it works. Or it doesn't fit. There's bowling. You need to put these here. Okay. The gang inflates. Gang inflates. Gang gets cursed. Here. Yeah, I think so. Rank choose every member of the gang. The Mac and Charlie part, that kind of sucks. Their sister and all the sisters that we only recently learned about. Gang plays, gang gets cursed. You know what? I want to move this up, actually. I thought this episode was not great. I feel like this is based on a real thing. Like a real story, basically. I had no idea about it when I watched it. I don't think a lot of people did. It wasn't that, like, well known, so... Celebrity booze is pretty bad. the joke with Bryan Cranston being the father of Malcolm from Malcolm in the Middle, it was funny a couple times, and then it got real or old real quick. And the fact that people outside, like people that weren't a part of the gang, was also referring to him as that I don't know, it didn't hit home for me. And here's the thing, it has nothing, like, I don't think being a major Breaking Bad fan would affect whether or not I have any different thoughts on this episode. The way that the episode was presented either way. Like, it had nothing to do with Breaking Bad aside from Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston being in it. But with that being said, I am not a major Breaking Bad fan. I know, shocking. Now, I don't dislike it. I think it's fine. It being like one of the best shows ever, no, not in my opinion, but it's pretty good. But whether or not you like Breaking Bad or not, I don't think that takes or anything to do with the episode unless you love Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul so much that the fact that they're in the episode is the reason why you love it so much. I don't know, it's kind of a dumb reason to like an episode. And I get it. I know people are going to be like, oh, well, it's because they're kind of like playing their characters from the show. Well, Aaron Paul is at least. It's like, oh, you know, in the real world, they're not really like that. Listen, I'm aware of that, okay? I'm aware of their characters. I have watched Breaking Bad. Don't get me wrong. I have watched it. So I'm not dumb on that topic, okay? I get it. It's the act that Aaron Paul is acting like Jesse, and Bryan Cranston is kind of just acting like, not like real Bryan Cranston, but he's not acting like Walter White, you know? So, anyways, that's my take on that. None of the jokes really hit. The stuff with Dee and Frank, it felt weird. It felt like explain it. It felt like kind of a shoehorn thing. I don't know. It felt like something that they needed more time in the episode, so they kind of just threw it in the plot, even though it did mix in with the plot, so it wasn't like a last minute thing. But it just felt really odd. Okay, only one episode left, and that is Dennis Takes a Mental Health Day. It's just Dennis. I mean, the rest of the gang is on the phone, sorta, because they're trying to make diamonds using a pressure cooker. But that's it. It's just Dennis. Sorry, I'm a little kind of tired. Okay, good thing we're on the last one. I have it above. The gang gets cursed. Is it lower? At least they're taking the piss out of it. The whole mental health day thing. I don't know. Let me look for B tier. Is there any of these kind of stick out above it? Okay. I think I'm okay with where I have it. I'm going to put Dennis Takes a Mental Health Day. Right? Can't see my cursor. Great. Okay, so I went through and gave point values to every single episode on my tier list. Basically, the top tier was worth like 5 points, and we went down to F that was 0. I didn't give any negative points for any of the episodes that were in my FD tier. I feel like I probably should have, honestly, because it would have changed what you see here a little bit. However, I think this is pretty accurate. I don't think anything's too far off, or any season is potentially a tier higher than the other. I feel like I put them appropriately. I did actually go through, because this is being recorded a day after the stream, I went through and I made 2 changes on my list, which you will not see on the list on YouTube because it's the day after, but I brought The Gang Gets Whacked Part 2 down 1 tier because I recently saw it again and I don't think it was as good as the first one. And I also increased Patty's Worst Bar in Philadelphia by 1 tier because it's definitely better than I think I was kind of giving it credit for, or not credit for, I guess I should say. But that's it, honestly. So yeah, this is pretty accurate. Seasons 8 and 12 are kind of tied. They have the same amount of points that I gave. Yeah, they're a solid tie. As well as 2 and 15, I believe they're both also a tie. Same point value. I feel like if I really think about it, I might be able to say which one's better, 2 or 15. I think plenty of people watching this is probably going to say, oh, 2's way better than 15. But I think you're also kind of taking maybe nostalgia or the fact that it's older as being a better reasoning as to why it's better than 15, but I think 15's kind of solid. Aside from the first episode, which was pretty weak, but actually not the first episode, the second episode, which I can't for the life of me remember what it is, but I'm looking at what I gave it on my number list and the lowest rated episode. So anyways, it's going to come to me probably right when I'm done recording this. Season 15 is a little different because season 15 is basically a 4-episode arc, all back to back to back to back. Well, actually, I think it's 3 episodes, but yeah, but they're individual enough that I was able to grade them. The first Ireland episode was the lowest out of the Ireland episodes. They're all A, aside from the first one. But yeah, what you see here is pretty accurate for what I think is the best seasons. They're going within tiers left to right, so 4 is better than 8, 8 is better than 12, etc., etc. But yeah, here we go. Just a quick rundown. Season 11 is the best season. Season 6 is a solid second, not too far off from 11, even if you remove the Christmas episodes and put them where they originally were recorded, which I believe was actually the end of season 3. I could be wrong. Either season 3 or 4 was when they originally recorded. I checked to make sure to see whether or not that would impact or decrease or increase a season at all, and it didn't. It didn't make 3 better than 15, or maybe like tied 15. So I guess you can say like 2, 3, then 15, but in retrospect, maybe 3 is better than 15, but whatever. But regardless, 6 is still solid up there. So even if the Christmas episodes were not counted, is still second place. Followed by 9 and 10. They're actually borderline tied point-wise, but I think 9 has a bit of an edge over 10. And that's including the fact that 9 has a D F tier episode. I already can't remember which one it is. Oh no. So I just checked, that is Gun Fever Still Too Hot. So even with that being a D F tier episode, I think 9 is still really good. I could probably go back and forth between 9 and 10, whether which one's ahead of the other, but I feel pretty good with it being ahead of 10. But again, all of the top here, the elite, they all are amazing seasons, so great tier is season 4. Season 4 has the most episodes. Yep, scratch that, I was wrong. That was season 3 that has the most episodes. But season 4 has a lot of great ones as well, followed by 8, and then 12. Good, I think, has a few, but yeah, kind of crazy that 9 is still really high rated despite there being a kind of bad episode in it. Good, season 7, season 5, which has a DF tier episode, which is gang reunites their rivalry, I believe. Yeah. Season 2, season 15, season 3, we talked about that earlier. Okay tier, season 16. Again, I don't know. Honestly, I think season 14 might be a little better, only because I don't think it's hard to say, honestly. Point-wise, they're not far off. I'm not going to go into detail about how I got these numbers, but 16 was a 2.62, 14 was a 2.60, and 13 was a 2.40, if that gives you any reference here. I think the more I think about it, 14 might be higher than 16, but the problem is that 14 had the woman's right to chop, and we went into detail about that. So, okay, in wheat tier, neither or any of the seasons within these, none of them have an S tier. So, we're talking max A tier here. There's no season that doesn't have at least an A tier, but actually, hold up. Yeah, I had to check for a second. There is an A tier in season 1. That's Charlie Gets Molested. But yeah, I think you could probably go back and forth between, well, I could at least because it's my list. And wheat tier. Okay, probably a little odd to see season 1 lower than 13. 13 is by far the worst. I might like it a little more than some people do to an extent. Well, I don't know, maybe it's neutral, but I think the episodes I kind of like aren't the ones that people kind of like, and the ones I don't really like are the ones that people like. So this one has the gang solves the bathroom problem. Again, I went into detail as to why. It's not because I have anything to do with against trans rights or anything like that. I'm 100% for it. But you would have to go back and listen to part 3 of Furry when I go over season 13, because I went into detail as to why that is a very, very bad episode. I think the highest rated episode I have for 13 is the ladies' version of the Boggs episode. I thought it was really good, honestly. A lot of people don't like it. They're self-aware. The whole episode is being self-aware that they're rehashing a previous episode they did just with women. So if it wasn't self-aware, then it would definitely be lower. But yeah, I actually think I might have given Charlie Home Alone a little bit too high of a rating, as well as the second part. That's from a different perspective. Those might be a tier lower, but that actually does not affect the ranking at all. It doesn't make it lower than season 1. In season 1, okay, so season 1 does not have any F tier episodes. The thing is that if I gave points to, or if I gave negative points to F tier episode, or D F tier, I guess I should say, I wouldn't change anything. Even if I didn't give, or if I took away points from 13 for having an F tier episode, it wouldn't make it lower than 1. None of the other seasons that have F tier episodes, yeah, it wouldn't change anything. Even if I brought down the Charlie Home Alone episodes 1 and 2, it would still be higher than 1. Now, I should probably explain why season 1's the lowest. I've talked about it before. It's not that any of the episodes are terrible, I guess, but there are definitely some boring episodes. I actually think I might have been a little too generous with the rankings for season 1. But the thing is, with it being the lowest, going back and putting them lower isn't going to change anything. It's still going to be the lowest. So, but again, I don't hate it. I don't think any of these seasons are bad. There's no bad season. I guess even 13, I guess you can argue that 13 is a definition of a bad season, but there's still some really good moments in 13. That's the thing. There are good moments in season 13. And there's enough good moments that no matter how I change it, how I go back and switch around episode rankings in 13 and 1, it doesn't make 1 higher than 13. It doesn't happen. I mean, season 1 was actually better than I originally had it. I had season 1 really low, though it was also my least watched season, I guess. Well, I guess that in 16, only because 16 is the newest at the time of the recording. But season 1 was definitely them trying to establish kind of what kind of show they were. Each episode felt quite different from each other, which with like season 12, they went very experimental with season 12, and it worked because they knew the formula. They knew how to properly make a good episode, even if the premise or the type of episode was different for each episode. Season 1, they didn't have that yet. They were still building kind of what they were going to be. Again, also, of course, Danny DeVito's not in it. There is a major quality change in writing between 1 and 2. Danny DeVito being a character greatly increased the quality. It has nothing to do with the writing in that regard. But yeah, the problem is this going back and going back and rewatching season 1, which I did recently for I really cemented my ratings here. Better than I remembered, but it's still not amazing. But again, going back and just kind of rewatching season 1, it's not enjoyable because Danny DeVito's not in it. And all the episodes feel different. It doesn't feel like Always Sunny in my opinion. But yeah, that's all there really is to it. What you see here is this formulation of giving points to every episode, adding them up, dividing them by how many episodes are in the season, of course, because each season they don't have the same amount of episodes. There is a 10 episode streak for about 4 or 5 seasons, I think. Actually, 6 seasons that have 10 episodes in a row. Of course, that wouldn't be fair if I didn't take into that account. So I gave each episode points and then I divided it by the amount of episodes in the season to give me a score, which makes it fair. But yeah, if you have any complaints, any questions as to why I picked or chose an episode for a certain tier, definitely let me know in the comments. I will attempt to answer them, though I feel like I gave a good enough explanation in the video that I spent 6 hours doing. I know a lot of them I kind of just put there. However, the ones that are really bad, I feel like, really good explanation as to why they're bad, and the ones that are S tier, I feel like I gave really good explanations too as well. Unless they're just like episodes that are universally, oh, they're obviously S tier episodes, you know? But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And until next time, whatever I do, see ya. Bye.